All right, so today is June 8th. I was unable to do a video for June 7th. I just ran out of time at the end of the day, so I'm just going to catch up today with the trades that I did for yesterday, and then I'll put out a separate video to catch up with the trades I did today. So let's start with Nike. I went long puts here with Nike. You can see the stock has been in a downtrend. Its 20s trading below its 50, and it seems to be finding resistance every time it approaches its moving averages. So here it's testing the 50, and I'm anticipating that, given the MACD where it is and given what the action previously of the trend, I'm anticipating that this thing could roll over the next couple of days and weeks. So I went long puts here. All right, so you can see here, I just went ahead and I bought the July 22nd puts, $119 strike price for $6.35. This is Ecolab, ECL. You can see here the stock has been in the downtrend. Again, the 50 days above the 20-day moving average. It had come up. I see the MACD rolling over. It's testing the 50-day moving average and rolling over. It's down 2.7% today, and yesterday I went long puts on this one. Okay, so I went ahead and I bought the July 15th puts, $165 strike price for $5.25. This is Sbux, SBUX. Similar pattern to the previous two. You can see the thing has been in the downtrend. 50-day is the 20-day is trading below the 50-day. I hope I said that correct on the last one. The 20-day is below the 50-day, and it's trending down. You can see here it tried to test the 50-day moving average a few times, and right now it's sitting here at the 50-day moving average. I'm anticipating that over the next couple of days and weeks this thing will roll over and at the very least test these lows here around $70. So I bought the July 22nd puts, $78 strike price for $3.20. So I came across this yesterday. It was the trading of options of Teradyne. That's ticker symbol TER, rose 9 times the normal average. So you can see the concentration was right here around these July 15th $90 puts. If you take a look at the stock price, it gapped lower. Maybe this was an earnings announcement, whatever the case may be, but was really unsuccessful and clunked back. Has been finding this 50-day moving average as major resistance. Excuse me. So it's finding the 50-day as major resistance, and I see it. It tried to punch through several times in the 50-day, but seems to be rolling over today. It's down almost 3%. So I'm anticipating that this is going to roll over and at the very least retest these lows here, sub $100. So with Teradyne, I went ahead and I bought the July 15th 105 strike puts for $5.60. This is Rockwell Automation, ticker symbol ROK, another company that's in a downtrend. You can see here it had this big gap down on big volume, and it's come back. It's trying to test this area, maybe try to test the gap, but that said, it seems to be rolling over here. I'm anticipating that there's going to be further downside in the name, so I went long puts here. I went ahead and I bought the July 15th 210 puts for $7.20. This is a Gartner Group, ticker symbol IT. You can see this has also been in a downtrend. It's been finding resistance at its moving averages. We're over here, it tried to bust through, but then failed. You can see here it's through the 20-day, but it hit the 50-day and started rolling over. I'm anticipating further downside, at the very least, to retest these lows around the, this is the 240 level. So I went long puts on this one. And I went ahead and I bought the July 15th 260 puts for $9.49. This is Peabody Energy, ticker symbol BTU. You can see yesterday here that the volume in these options rose to about 7 times the normal level, and you can see it was concentrated all in these calls here, the June 17th $28 and $30 calls, and there was also a block of July 15th $30 calls that went off. So anticipation that this is going higher, I decided to follow. So here is BTU on the chart. I kind of like this uptrend. It came here, it's making this cup formation. So I'm anticipating that we can see, at the very least, hit the previous highs and hopefully punch through. So I went long calls here. Went ahead and I bought the July 15th $30 calls for $2.41. This is Rent-A-Center, ticker symbol RCII. You can see yesterday it popped up that the volume was about 7 times the normal average, and it seemed like bigger blocks were going off at the July 15th 25 puts and the June 17th 25 puts. So there's someone banking that there could be some downside. So this is RCII on the chart. So you can see it's been in a downtrend and it's kind of been leveling off here. It's found support here around, call it $23 or so. I'm anticipating that this is going to test this 50-day moving average and roll over, at the very least try to get through this $23 level or so. So I went ahead and I bought the July 15th puts on Rent-A-Center with it's a $25 strike price, and I paid $1.92. Accenture, I think I've made some money with this in the past. Anyway, looking at this chart, so it's obviously been heading lower. It's been finding resistance at its moving averages. Tried to bust through here but failed. Trying to bust through here but failed. It's down about 1.3% today. I believe that this thing is going to roll over. I'm not seeing that this downward trend is breaking just yet. So I went ahead and I went long puts on this one. I bought the July 22nd puts, $300 strike price for $12.60. So here's Match Group. You can see on all of these downward bias positions that I'm taking a very similar chart pattern, right? So I'm following the trend lower. I've been waiting for somewhat of a bounce off the low to reestablish my downside bias trades, and that seemed to have happened. So I'm happy to say that I'm getting the portfolio a little bit more robust to the downside. So Match, you can see here that the 20-day moving average is below the 50-day. They're both trending lower, and it's been acting as resistance all the way down. So Match came up here. It's testing the 50-day right now. Spiked up higher today, but it's really giving it all back. So I'm anticipating that this trend is going to continue, and this is going to curl over lower, at the very least to retest these lows at $70 again. So I went long the puts here. Went ahead and I bought the July 22nd puts, $82 strike price for $5.70. Market looks like it's rolling over here. NASDAQ is down almost 1% now. S&P is down 1%. Selling off now. So I saw this article pop up. This is CommScope, ticker symbol COMM, and you can see here that options yesterday rose about 7 times the normal daily average. And you can see it's concentrated down here by these July 15th $9 calls. So I decided to try to follow what these folks are doing. So here's CommScope. Now today it's having a good day. It's up almost 4%. So I'm up in these calls. Again, it's in a downtrend, but I like the fact that it broke out of its downward trend by piercing both the 20 and the 50-day. And if you take a look, the 20-day just crossed the 50-day in a bullish move. So perhaps this trend has bottomed, or this downtrend has stopped, and a new uptrend is in place. So with the COM, I went long calls to July 15th $9 calls for 40 cents. I'm up about call it 44% in the trade. So I have an order in there to sell half my position when I'm up 100% in the trade. So this is Constellation Brands, ticker symbol STZ. I came across this alert that that the volume in the options were trading 14 times normal, and it was concentrated in these June 17th calls, which are 350s and 257.50s, and also someone was going out there with the June 24 330 calls. I like this because they're near dated contracts. They're near dated calls, so that I think is more telling than anything else. You can see here for the month of June, it's pretty active on their calendar, so they're doing a couple of retail conferences, and then they're reporting earnings at the end of the month. So perhaps there's some folks anticipating some good things coming out of these meetings and these conferences. Perhaps a pre-announcement to the upside. We don't know. But unusual option activity, so it got me involved. All right, so this is Constellation Brands. You can see here it's been kind of flattish. I guess it's held up pretty well in this downward market, but it is above its 20-day. It is above its 50-day, and it's 20 days above its 50-day, so technically you can say this thing is kind of in a sideways or slightly positive bullish trend. I'm anticipating that's going to find some support here and then press forward higher. So I went long the calls, and this may press forward as more news comes out of the conferences that they're presenting at. So I went long calls. I'm anticipating this thing is going to go higher. So I went long the July 22nd calls, 245 strike price for $9.30. This is Clorox. I took a bear put vertical on this. That's my downward bias. I think this, it looks ugly, right? So it gapped down, came in, filled the gap, and sold off hard, selling off again. So I went here. I put the bear put vertical on, anticipating that at the very least, the lows of, call it 120-ish, are going to be retested. So for that bear put vertical, I had sold the June 17th puts, 128 strike price for 89 cents, and I went ahead and I bought the June 17th puts, 133 strike price for $2.40. So let's take a look at this. So this is Car Gurus, right? CARG, and the volume in the options were about 7 times the norm. And I also saw here, and I'll also take comfort in this. I'm testing this theory, but the near dated, the June 17th, which is only going out, a week and a half. Lots of activity there. So I can see the 24s, the 29s, the 25s all going off there. So I kind of like the way that looks. So this is the chart. This is definitely going counter trend to what I would normally do, but I'm just following these options. So you can see here, probably looks like it had a lousy quarter, gap down, hasn't been able to really kind of start to fill that gap. So I would not normally take a long position on this type of chart pattern, but I'm testing the theory about the unusual option activity. So I went long calls here. Not a lot. It was a very small position. So you can see here, I only got off 2, and it's small because I just didn't get them off. So, and I'm testing a theory, so I'm going light anyway. But for the most part, I bought the July 15 calls. That's $26 strike price for $1.90. My total downside risk to this trade is 300. Call it $400. So it's a very, very small trade. Last one for today. This is Duke Realty. So you can see this stock has sold off hard. It's testing this 20, testing the 20 to the downside. I went ahead and I went long puts yesterday on this name. Today it's having a miserable day. It's down, call it 2.3%. I'm anticipating that this thing is going to come down at the very least, retest the lows here around 47. So I went long these puts. I went ahead and I bought the July 15th puts, $50 strike price for $2.45. And that's all the trades that I did yesterday. It was pretty active. I just didn't have time to do the video. So I'm going to jump off now, get together all the trades I did today, and I'll get back at you with the update. Thanks.